Straight ahead on the Valley today, armed and dangerous and still on the loose. Police in northern Minnesota are trying to catch up with two people last seen on the streets with a handgun.
Also coming up, a very close call for one family when a toddler gets a hold of a loaded gun and aims it at mom and dad.
Plus, stolen or misplaced. A North Dakota woman hasn't seen her heirloom jewelry since she was prepped for emergency surgery. But first, new this morning, a Barnes County man is dead after a three-vehicle crash along I-94 near Albany, Minnesota. The State Patrol says a semi driven by 59-year-old Brian Lemley of Sibley, North Dakota, veered off the road, crossed the highway median, and entered lanes with oncoming traffic.
No one in the other two vehicles were hurt. Troopers are investigating what caused Lemley to veer off of the interstate. Police are searching for two suspects this morning who they consider armed and dangerous after a shooting and a car crash in Bemidji. It happened around 6 last night on the city's north side. Witnesses say they heard gunshots and saw a white vehicle crash into a power pole and then break it. Two men were seen running away from the area. One was carrying a handgun.
They may have jumped into a silver Nissan with tinted windows. Officers found bullet holes in a vehicle and in nearby buildings, but they say it does not appear anyone was hurt. Police are looking for one man who was wearing a red sweatshirt and red sweatpants. The other man was wearing all black. Two parents from Bath, Maine are hurt after being shot by their 2-year-old child. Police say the little boy picked up an unsecured handgun from a nightstand and fired it, hitting both of his parents.
And neither parent was critically injured, and the toddler was hurt, though, when the recoil from the gun hit him in the face. A 3-week-old baby was also in the room at the time of the shooting, but was not hurt. The nation's largest fuel pipeline is restarting operations after a cyber attack forced it to shut down last Friday. But Colonial Pipeline says it will take a few days to fully restore operations. The shutdown sparked a run on gasoline, sending the average price at the pump above $3 a gallon for the first time in more than 6 years.
President Joe Biden has signed an executive order aimed at better protecting the U.S. from cyber attacks. Even so, the White House acknowledged more will need to be done to block hacks like that Colonial Pipeline ransomware attack. The order is an initial step toward hardening the systems and softwares which underpin the nation's basic functions.
It is now 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Let's get a check of that forecast here. Starting out, hey, pretty nice. We're above freezing by quite a bit, and there's some sun out there, Lisa.
That's right. Can't complain too much about this, especially compared to how we started off the week. We had temperatures starting in the 20s. We're in the 40s and 50s here this morning. We're looking westward on our storm, or rather first alert storm team Skycam along I-94 here. Yesterday, this got backed up quite a bit, and we're looking, this is westbound because of the traffic along, or construction along the tri-level. So we're going to keep an eye on this for you here today for any traffic backups that happen. Yet again, it is construction season now as we're starting to warm up. Here's a look at our current conditions. 49 right now in Fargo, mostly sunny skies. It feels like 45 because we've got that wind out of the south-southeast at 10. Not bad though. And 46 your current temperature in Moorhead. And in Grand Forks, you can see that sun is shining. And from East Grand Forks as we're looking toward downtown Grand Forks, and current conditions are looking good. There are some clouds over to the east, but overall we are looking at some mostly sunny conditions for Grand Forks to start too. 47 degrees right now. And we've got a south wind at 8 miles per hour. That wind is going to pick up today. We're going to see some gusts back into the 20s, and that will have some implications for that fire weather threat. It's still pretty dry out there. Our dew point very low at 26, so we're going to see some dry conditions yet again. That may hamper that chance for some rain as well. So we've got a couple of things going on as we head into the afternoon. This morning, a couple of sprinkles showing up in northwest Minnesota. Otherwise, we've got a nice quiet start to our day and a good wait out at the bus stop this morning. We're looking at temperatures 40s to some low 50s, not so chilly for the kids there. And this afternoon, nice and warm. We'll be in the 60s to some low 70s. We will have those clouds increasing as our chances for rain increase. Wind out of the south again and gusting into the 20s for this afternoon. And we'll see that chance for some rain, some isolated to scattered showers. And here's a look at our rainfall potential through tonight. Most areas that we see blue, again, not everybody's going to get rain, but most areas that do will be under that half-inch range, more in that probably I'd say 1/10 of an inch. But there are some pockets where if we get a thunder shower, we could get closer to that half-inch as well. And looking ahead to Saturday, it's the fishing opener in Minnesota. We're looking at temperatures that are going to top off into the upper 60s, morning hours into the 40s, looking not too bad. Not too windy either. That's important. We don't want choppy water out there, but there is a chance for a few showers in the afternoon and evening. So looking forward to a nice weekend, and it's just nice to warm things up and to have rain chances return in the forecast.
All right, Lisa, liking that warmer temperature as well. Thank you this morning. A Hatton, North Dakota woman is heartbroken and now pleading for the return of her jewelry that went missing while she was in the hospital being treated for a broken leg. Karen Enger says last month she fell and broke her leg and was then taken to Sanford Medical Center for emergency surgery. And as she was being wheeled in, she was told that her jewelry had to be taken off.
Karen says she handed them to a hospital employee and asked them to be given to her husband, but that never happened. Now she's asking for the return of her sentimental items.
Please, if you know where this jewelry is, please return it. No questions asked. Just give it back.
Karen says she did put in a complaint with Sanford Hospital and just a few weeks ago was told that the case had been closed because the hospital had done its part in trying to find the jewelry. She believes someone may have stolen or may have tried to pawn them.
Now, Sanford says they cannot comment on any one case, but they do say they make every effort to ensure that patients' belongings are safe and secure. Wyoming Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney is out as the number 3 position within the GOP House leadership. She was ousted behind closed doors yesterday. Instead of a secret ballot, the removal came with a voice vote, so there was no record of the totals.
After the vote, Cheney addressed the media, pledging her commitment to conservatism and warning about being dragged backwards from what she says are dangerous lies of former President Donald Trump. She prioritized faithfulness to the Constitution and vowed to do everything she could to prevent the former president from ever getting near the Oval Office again. The state trial for 3 former police officers accused in the George Floyd case have been postponed from this August until sometime next year. So a federal civil rights trial against them and Derek Chauvin can take place first. J. Alexander King, Thomas Lane, Toad Tao, and Chauvin were all indicted by a grand jury last month for deprivation of rights while acting as law enforcement officers.
The federal charges carry stiffer sentences than state ones, and life sentences are possible. King, Lane, and Tao face charges of aiding and abetting second-degree murder and manslaughter at the state level.
Meanwhile, Derek Chauvin could see a longer sentence for his killing of George Floyd after the judge in the case found aggravating factors in Floyd's death. Judge Peter Cahill says the former Minneapolis officer abused his authority when he restrained Floyd during the arrest and treated Floyd with particular cruelty. The ruling paves the way for the possibility of a longer sentence for Chauvin, who was convicted last month on murder and manslaughter charges.
A Clay County judge says the Moorhead murder suspect cannot withdraw his guilty plea. Ethan Broad admitted to killing 19-year-old Destiny Avery in April of 2020. He accepted a plea deal earlier this year, then changed his mind and asked to go to trial. Broad was found competent to understand his plea agreement. He will be sentenced next Friday. A lot has been said and decided on regarding this year's battle with mosquitoes. Now, this does include what kind of spray to use and what approaches to take. And there is a lot that they have been talking about in the coming weeks here.
For nearly 20 years, Cass and Clay counties and the cities of Fargo, West Fargo, and Moorhead have used the same spray. But this year will be different, as Moorhead will be using a less potent spray. Cass County Vector Control says there is a chance that spraying might not be needed as much this season, depending on how dry it is. This year's graduation at MSUM will be nothing like this. Days of the past. The class of 2021 is celebrating its achievements with a virtual commencement starting today. Close to 800 graduates will be given a platform virtually when their names are called.
Smaller in-person ceremonies will be held for graduates and international students with a hooding and sash ceremony. Meanwhile, 4 ceremonies will take place over the next 2 days. Well, that's actually at MSUM as well. It's 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. If you would like to watch, we do have a link to that at valleynewslive.com.
And NDSU is also holding its 2021 ceremonies Saturday at the Fargo Dome. One ceremony is at 10 a.m., the other at 2 p.m. UND's graduation ceremonies will also be on Saturday, also virtual. You can watch a pre-recorded ceremony anytime after 10 a.m. Saturday on UND's website. From highly skilled athletes to those of all abilities, the Able Games has room for everyone to compete.
And that's where we find the Valley Today's Brian Sherrod. He joins us live in downtown Fargo with the details on this big event. Good morning, Brian.
And good morning, Jordan and Lisa. As you drive down Broadway, you probably noticed this white tent, and this is where the Able Games is going to be. Highly skilled athletes, you could be a person with special needs. They're all going to be competing on the same level right there in this tent, but this tent is actually going to come down Friday and Saturday. It's only up because there is a gala tonight. Now, the idea comes from Fargo native and New York Jets center Connor McGovern. McGovern wants to find a way to help those with special needs, so this program began. It's a 2-day event, so many things to see. 200 athletes are competing for $7,500 in prizes. The events, to name a few, include deadlifts, sit and reach test, slam ball toss, and 2,000-meter row. Everybody will work out right here in the plaza, which is great because it promotes equality.
It's really a lifestyle. We want to adapt what your abilities are at the age that you're at, the level that you're at, but you can still do it side by side. So an NFL player can be working out, his workouts can be very different than mine, but I still have an ability.
Now, no mask are required since we are outside, but there is a limit to 600 attendees. You must bring a lawn chair because bleachers are prohibited. 2nd Street will be closed from Broadway to the end of U.S. Bank and Gate City. So the proceeds for this event will help adults and children in TNT, and that's going to be used to help those with special needs be able to do workout programs kind of like what you're seeing behind me. Full details found at valleynewslive.com.
It's going to be a fun weekend. I'll be down there. Thank you, Brian. Let's get our answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. Here's today's question. 60% of people say
they have a hard time remembering this number. We do have that on our Facebook page.
The answer is your license plate number.
Oh, that is hard to remember. The Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. More live up-to-the-minute news and weather on the Fargo CW.